Hello, everyone. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I am here to do a teaching lesson. This is going to be lesson 1 on the chakras, and I wanted to start with the third eye chakra because this seems to be the most difficult for people to understand and to deal with due to subconscious blockages that are based in trauma and things that may be stored in your memory. Okay. So, your third eye chakra is located in between your brow. And what makes this chakra so important? Okay. What makes this chakra so important is that this is where all of your memory is stored. And my theory, since I work with so many people that were victims of abuse, in particular, very early on, when it comes from language, from either their parents or either family members, what I've noticed is that this is where you store all of your trauma and your traumatic memories. This is where everything is at, is in your third eye. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of spiritualists, they suggest that you open up your third eye, because when you open it, it's not just about opening it, but it's also about releasing negative memories that have been implanted. Okay. Now I'm going to get into all of the different symptoms and different things that you can, have happen to your body. But your third eye tells the rest of your body everything. Even though I always say that the third eye is connected to the root chakra, because it is. And we'll talk about the root chakra on another day. But today I want to specifically focus on the third eye, because whatever you're rooted in, this is the information that is stored about self. And one of the things that I've noticed is that if there is any kind of third eye blockage, you can't see. You can't see yourself. You can't really see the actions that you're taking. You can't really see how other people perceive you. And you may have a warped perception of everything around you. For example, people that have severe trust issues. The reason why they have those severe trust issues is because the third eye has been blocked. So they're just blind. And when you mix, typically what causes these trust issues would be very early on trauma. Very early on trauma that you may store in your mind. And a lot of this is going to come from the root, which has a lot to do with your mother. Okay, if your mother was abusive to you very early on, and I'm sorry, guys, this may trigger some of you guys, but sometimes you need to be triggered so that you can release a lot of those repressed memories and you can remember them. And if you're able to remember those memories, then more than likely you're going to be able to release them. Now, it's not that simple. Okay. And a lot of people that have blocked third eyes, they're very obsessive. A lot of the mental illnesses, a lot of the physical illnesses is coming from your third eye communicating with various parts of your body, including your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your kidneys. So, for example, if you had very early onset trauma, which I'm not even talking about the stuff that you can remember. I'm not even talking about that. If you can remember it, then that means that you've already probably begun the healing process. I'm talking about stuff that was being implanted into your thoughts and your subconscious ever since your mother was pregnant with you, and then beyond that. So, for example, if you had a mother that didn't really have a good intuition, she could have left you with somebody that they didn't even have to hit you. They just said a bunch of evil stuff to you. And babies are very intelligent. Okay, a lot of people, they thought years ago that babies were not intelligent, but babies do respond to the stimulation that somebody is saying to them. And see, I've never tested negative talk to little babies and children, but there's other people that have. For example, if you were a very small baby and you had somebody that was caring for you that was not a very good person, this person was probably saying things to you and, maybe even neglecting you. And these are things that were stored in your memory. So this is what creates a lot of the trust issues. This is very controversial, but, most men that were circumcised are underneath some sort of third eye trauma, because they typically circumcise you within the first few days of life. And this is somebody that is strapping you down to a bed and violating your body. And it's very hard for you to fight that. So a lot of men, especially men that have been circumcised, and it just really depends on who the man is. It really does. It depends on, if he has looked into that, because a lot of the times when I'm doing healings or cleanses for men, which is few and far between, and the reason why is because of that early onset trauma, men learn to disassociate and to be in denial very, very, very early on. So it's very, very hard, and this is the reason why a lot of women will try to, educate them, but it's blocked out, because that is a very, very traumatizing memory, to have the most sensitive part of yourself cut off and you were not able to do anything to fight it. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to make any mothers feel bad for this, because with my first son, I did the same thing. And I've been working on, healing my son from that by apologizing to him for making that decision for him and not leaving that up to him to make that decision. It was a total violation and a trauma. And my son actually reacted to that trauma by being hospitalized 5 days later with a very bad blockage, because when he was born, he was not peeing. They wanted to circumcise him so bad that the nurse, who was a female nurse, lied to me and told me that he had peed. They had performed the circumcision and my son had not peed because he had reflux in one of the tubes that leads to the the urination particles or whatever, or parts, and they circumcised him anyway, and he was hospitalized a few days later. Okay, he was jaundiced. He had to get a spinal tap. It was really a lot of trauma early on with my oldest son, so this is the beginning of trauma for men. And so you sit and you wonder, why are men like this? And that's one of the reasons, along with other stuff, because very early on they were put through pain and trauma, at the time of birth. All of the memories and all of the things that you were told and taught throughout your childhood, whether or not they were good or bad, are stored in the third eye. So this is what I believe, and what a lot of other spiritualists believe, that this is what causes a lot of the health problems and a lot of the mental problems. In particular, if you have, generational hexes of high blood pressure, diabetes and things of that nature. If you're told something over and over again, your third eye will store this and it will start to manifest a lot of those things within your body. Because as you guys know, a lot of the things that we deal with, especially by, the elites and by the Illuminati, a lot of those things are learned and taught behavior patterns for your body, in particular when it comes to anxiety and depression. A person doesn't even really have to speak that to you, but rather their behavior and the things that they say to you and their intent behind it, because our third eyes are very, very advanced and they are very, very smart to the point where you can actually pick up on somebody's negative intent without even knowing it. Okay. And so this is if you have a blocked third eye. This is why a lot of people carry on with friends that are not their friends. And they just don't have the understanding because, they're pretty much blind. You can have eyes that can see, but if your third eye is shocked and if it is blocked, you're not going to really be able to see nothing. Okay. You won't be able to see the forest from the trees because somebody might be saying to you, I love you, but their intent is something altogether different. Okay. So when I do cleanses for people, because of course I am a spiritualist and I do provide cleanses for people, because I'm going to tell you something. The cleanses are amazing. I'm going to get into all of the symptoms that you can have from a blocked third eye. But the cleanses are amazing because what they do is they clear out, okay? They clear out certain memories and spirits and demons that do feed off of these chakras, and they clear them out, and it clears out what could possibly take you an entire lifetime to get rid of. And some people don't even get rid of it then. Some people, they just carry these things with them, and it leads to them having a very unfulfilling life. A life where they are more so they will gear towards trauma bonding instead of real bonding from people that love and care about you. And you'll gravitate more so towards, things that are violent. If you're somebody that gravitates towards violence, if you're someone that gravitates towards negative energy, the reason why is because your third eye is controlling all of this. Okay. And spirits and entities can actually attach to the third eye. Okay. This is the whole point of trauma. A lot of people that were your caretakers very early on, yes, they did these things on purpose. Are you going to spend a lifetime in denial about that and living within this reality that is someone else's? A lot of you empaths will do that as well. If you're very empathic, you'll say, well, my mama went through this, or my grandpa went through this, so I'm going to walk within this struggle. And see, that is when you've been programmed. So this is the way that they are able to program you. And a lot of your caretakers that you couldn't trust, because I've seen people do this. They're taken care of by caretakers that they can't trust, and that they go through life not trusting the decisions that they make, and then not trusting other people, and creating a lot of devastation in the lives of those people that they are trying to destroy, while they're trying to destroy the principal, which is the person that put all of those negative subconscious thoughts and patterns and processes and lies about yourself. So if you're somebody that has like a very, very negative disposition, please believe that this stuff was put into you at a very young age. This is one of the reasons why I stopped using daycare centers and stuff like that, because you just never know what somebody's saying to your child. at a very young age. This type of psychological programming can produce a person that has a lot of different issues, okay? So your third eye, which is also called your anja, the color associated is indigo, which is why you're seeing an indigo color. And this is all about your intuition. So this affects your ability to see your actions, to see what you're doing, to see the patterns, to see it. It affects your total perception. Okay. And if you are a person that was taught to not trust your own intuition and insights, then you may see things from a very warped view. And this is what causes people to have cognitive dissonances, which cognitive dissonances is not no joke. It can create a very, very miserable human being having a cognitive dissonance. Okay. This is also the chakra that is responsible for developing your psychic abilities. So, for example, you know, when I do these readings and I can see your situation very clearly, well, that's because, you know, it actually took 30 something years. And the reason why is because I didn't have the correct information or the education to, you know, understand that the third eye was blocked, probably because typically if you have either a parent or other people that are blocking your third eye, it's probably because this person doesn't want you to see yourself, and they only want you to see you from their perspective. And this is very common within narcissistic parents, okay, and parents that were possessed. If you have a narcissistic parent, they're just possessed, is what that is, okay? Self-realization, okay, and this is also where you're going to release any hidden and repressive negative thoughts. Your thoughts is what affect your entire body. Okay, this is one of the reasons why, you know, even dealing with YouTube, I have to cleanse myself daily now because I've got people, you know, on and off of YouTube sending me negative information to my third eye, trying to send negative information to clients, you know, really trying to affect every aspect. And see, this is a person that does not have any foresight anyway. So, you know, this is why the cleanses are very important, because whenever somebody wants to work on somebody else and not themselves, then there's a problem. Okay. Some of the things that you may have had as a child was learning disabilities, coordination problems, and sleep disorders. Okay, these are some of the main factors that are being affected. Is your ability to coordinate things. And see, coordination is not just your ability to dance. Coordination is going to be your ability to organize things as well. Also, if you are somebody that has thyroid imbalances, if your glands are swollen, if you have a lot of fevers, a lot of flus, a lot of infections, if you have mouth problems, jaw problems, tongue problems, neck and shoulder problems, hyperactivity, hormonal disorders such as PMS, mood swings, bloating, and menopause, which is actually mental pause. This is when you've been under a certain indoctrination for so long that your body begins to shut down, which is, to say the least, very dangerous. Okay. Other symptoms of third eye blockages would be a mental fog. Okay, you may have a mental fog. You may be overly judgmental. You may be overly analytical. Okay, you may have anxiety. You may be overwhelmed mentally with everything. It's just everything is mentally exhausting. Oh my God, I can't deal with it. Also, daydreaming excessively and lacking your clarity in your thought process. Not being able to make the correct decision. Okay. Now, there are certain meditations that you can do, but what is the case for a lot of people is that there has literally been some sort of entity. Okay, if people deny that entities don't exist, then they're full of crap. Entities, demonic energies, demonic spirits absolutely will feed off of even your meditation process. We have a lot of people that have been afflicted in their mind and in their third eye chakra to where they might be delusional. Somebody that has a blocked third eye chakra, they're delusional. They may be paranoid, that you may be skeptical of everybody. Okay, you may have somebody calling you to give you good news, but you're assuming that it's something bad. That's how you can tell that there's a third eye blockage. Okay, when you're not able to trust your own instincts. Now, this can directly be affected by certain hexes that have been placed over people, because there is in general a hex placed that was placed on all of us, okay, during certain religions, and with certain religions to where they didn't want you to see, they didn't want you to know. In fact, our Bibles, or your Bible condemns having foresight. And why does the Bible condemn? Thank you, Goddess. Why does the Bible condemn having foresight? Why does it condemn that? Because it was meant to control you. This is how the negativity and the entity and what we call the higher ups, this is how they are controlling you through your third eye. So if you have had any of these symptoms, sometimes just meditating is not going to do anything, because you're going to meditate, but then the next day you're going to wake up to the same thing. Okay, you're going to wake up to the same thing. And then you'll get to the point where, oh, I'm just going to meditate all day. Well, I know too many people that can just meditate all day. Okay, I don't know anybody. Nightmares, when your dreams are very scary. Okay, when they're very, very scary, if you're scared all the time. Okay, now just to let you guys know that the third eye rules over every other chakra. This is the reason why a lot of real spiritualists are going to tell you, first of all, you have got to unblock your third eye. What's going to happen as soon as you unblock your third eye chakra? What's going to happen? All of those repressed negative memories, which a demon thought process. The only difference is that we either can make it up to look like a certain person or a color, or sometimes even, an orb or whatever, when you can see certain things coming in and out of somebody's third eye chakra. This is the reason why, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the crown chakra as well, because that crown chakra is also very important, but it starts here, because your third eye and all of those unnecessary thought processes, all of those things are delivering information to the rest of your body. And so you could be lying to your body. Or either you may not even be in control of it, which is where anxiety comes from. Okay. And so anxiety is actually, sometimes it can be a blessing because it's giving you signs that something is wrong. But if you leave anxiety untreated, which is taking medications and things of that nature, you're still not treating it. You're just putting a Band-Aid over it. And a lot of people have found out the hard way taking psychotropic medications, which is why you hear about people that are literally outside of themselves. So an entity or a demon can actually control you through your third eye. Okay, this is where they're able to put mind control in you, and it's happening all the time. And it depends on what's attached to your bloodline. Depends on what it is. Okay. So if you're somebody that has obsessive thoughts, let's say that you're constantly obsessing over something. Okay. Constantly. You're just obsessing over, you just can't stop thinking about it. It's just always a thought process. Something that is an obsession is more than likely an oppressed memory that has happened to you, that is still in there, that you have to bring to the forefront. This is what causes denial, to where you say, ain't nothing happened to me. I'm fine. And then some people will know, some people will say what happened to them, and they'll carry on certain characteristics and behaviors, and they'll say, oh, well, nothing like that ever happened. It's okay. Everything's okay. Denial can be a serious problem. So I do offer chakra readings to people. That's going to be your first step, is to go to me. It's either to go to somebody else, or you can come to me and you can get a chakra reading. And I'll be able to tell you a lot of the repressed memories that are in there. And a lot of the times it can be extremely traumatizing, knowing and understanding where this came from. And so let me tell you something. Your third eye chakra governs the pituitary gland. Okay. And then also your neurological function, your body's ability to fight infection. It also regulates your sleep. And then it also helps to maintain balanced metabolic function. Okay. So if your third eye is blocked because you're trying to block, your body is constantly reacting to you trying to block this memory, and the blockage has been forced in you. So as a result, you'll be sick all the time. You'll have insomnia, or you may develop things like high blood pressure. You can sometimes have migraine headaches, sinusitis, seizures, poor vision, and sciatica. Okay. Which is all the way down in your root chakra, right? So your third eye can affect every single other chakra, to the point where you won't be able to decipher fact from fiction. You won't be able to, you'll have no idea what is real and what is not real, which is very, very horrific when you think about it, because if you can't decipher what's real and what's not real, and this is usually when people have become very bad off. Okay, because it really, really takes a lot of time. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna see if you guys are in the chat from my cell phone. Okay. Okay. All righty. Okay. Hey, Guerrera and Essence Salone. Hello, how are you? So people that are very blocked, they do certain behaviors like trolling people. That's a neurological function. Neurological is related to whether or not you are able to control your own behavior as well. Okay. Now, what does your pituitary gland function over? What is its function? Okay. The pituitary gland is part of your endocrine system, and its main function is to secrete hormones into your bloodstream. These hormones can affect other organs in your body and glands, especially your thyroid. Okay, and so this is where a lot of your eating disorders can come in. Okay, a lot of your eating disorders can start to surface, and eating disorders can either be, way too much or not enough. Okay, one of the things that I always tell people not to do is for them to try to put subconscious negative things about body image in people, because these are one of the main things that end up happening, and it affects your perception of yourself and your world, and the world around you, and how people see you, and how you see yourself, which can be very dangerous. can be very, very dangerous, because if you can't see what you're doing to your own self, you're going to constantly live within a negative mindset. So, this is what causes people to consistently have obsessions, just like my stalkers. They're obsessed. They don't understand why. They blame it on me. When in reality, I'm doing good, Essence. Thanks for asking. When in reality, it's the person that programmed them. Okay. And hatred and ignorance is taught. Hatred, ignorance, and fear is taught. Okay. It is taught. Okay. All of those things are taught. And it's like I told you guys, I have enemies in very high places, and, they've got devices and stuff that they use. And a lot of the times I have to put protection over my son's third eye. Because if you notice, sometimes when I'm live, all of a sudden he'll start reacting. And so, those people will go through their negative karma processes, and it's actually not worth it, because, the spirit guides approve this message completely and totally. This is why this information is out there for you. Okay. Now, when it comes to getting your cleanses, the etheric cleanses, this is one of the reasons why I place them on sale. So my etheric cleanses are actually on sale, because this is the number one thing that people have and that is affecting their daily lives, as well as the people around them, is negative subconscious thoughts and behavior. One of the main big things is the thought process that you have. What do you think about? What's on your mind constantly? Okay. And a lot of people have gotten so bad to where, and I'm going to tell you something, a lot of your people that are liars, people that just lie all the time, lie to you, lie to themselves, lie to everybody else. They may even be lying on you. Those people have a calcified pineal gland. And I've actually opened up calcified pineal glands. It can sometimes be a very painful process, because what ends up happening is that as soon as you get a spiritual cleanse, you're going to start crying. And people that have a lot of repressed memories, people that have a lot of trauma and abuse, they'll start crying, because basically what they'll do is they will get you to a point where you're not necessarily functioning as a human being anymore. Now you're just now you're just a zombie. So this is why you see a lot of people that are, I call them zombies, or either puppets. You can become a puppet. Okay. And a lot of times our exes, our parents, or friends, even teachers, will literally push this information at you. And children are very, very susceptible to this. Everybody has been a child before, especially when you see these people running around here talking about they hate children. People that hate children, they don't actually hate children. They hate their childhood, and they hate the memories from being a child. That's what they hate. So you have to be able to understand why you think, act, and react to certain things the way that you do. This is the reason why. And I'm going to tell you something. In a world where everybody is practicing witchcraft, a lot of the people that have a lot of negative things in their subconscious, they try to project those things out to other people. Well, there's a lot of people that are smart that, like I told y'all, you can't just put a Band-Aid on it trying to transfer that stuff to somebody else. Ain't gonna work no more because those people can just send that stuff right back to you. Okay. So if you have somewhat of a negative subconscious, or if you just have a total, calcified pineal, then it's very important for you to be working with a spiritualist that knows what they are doing. Okay, because this is going to affect everything, especially things that you don't even know. These things are hidden so far off in your subconscious that these things will start to manifest in your life, and you'll be wondering, why is this manifesting? Because it's something that's hidden and something that has been repressed, because the people that were abusive to you, they had to repress that. And more than likely, if you have an abusive parent, they're not going to say, apologize. If they're just an outright abusive caretaker, they'll never apologize, especially if you had somebody that never took responsibility. So then what that means is that you couldn't process, anything. You couldn't process it. You didn't really understand it. So these are the type of people that you see running around here doing wrong to people, and they don't even want to apologize, even though they had a negative intent for what they were doing. They don't feel anything. And see, if you have been taught to not feel, then that's what you're going to do. You're just not going to feel. But you don't even realize that a lot of those things are affecting you negatively. And scientists just admitted, after Jamila's been saying it for like 6 years, scientists just are paying attention to the fact that negative energy is causing cancer. Not anything that you do, not any, just negative energy. Vibrations are what's causing a lot of the health problems. Hello, Crystal. Essence said, yes, my child's dead. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? When you've got a practitioner that's working on a person that's constantly trying to release negative energy, you'll notice that that person will start falling out. And a lot of people, they can't stop. They can't stop, but people have the right to defend themselves, and you can't keep doing that to folks. You've got to work on yourself. You have got to be able to see yourself, because if you can't see what you're doing to other people and how it is affecting you negatively, then eventually you're going to see it. And sometimes when you see it, eventually it might be a little too late. Okay. So in particular, if you are somebody that is doing readings for somebody, and let's say that your third eye is not completely calcified, but it's partially, you're not going to necessarily, have the knowledge to protect yourself and to clear those things out, especially when you're thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to send this to somebody else. And a lot of people will think that, oh, I'm just going to transfer this to somebody else. You can't transfer it. Not the way to, especially now, if you've got somebody that is like a helpless victim and they just sit there and allow it to happen, then, but that's still, I do believe in karma. At some point, one way or the other is going to catch up with you. At some point, because what you're doing negative to other people is going to affect you vibrationally. And see, this is where it starts. That's just like if you have enemies and your enemies are attacking you and you ain't really done nothing to them at that point. And, they won't understand, well, why is this person sending this negative energy? You ever see somebody that does something to you, and then when you respond, or either you send that negative energy or that negative communication back to them, and they don't have an understanding, like, well, why is this person doing this to me? And a lot of people will say, oh, well, this is gaslighting. But see, this is one of those learned and taught behaviors that are with you very early on. And it's so sad when you see somebody that was reared and raised by somebody like that, and it will affect them for a lifetime. So a lot of people, you know, you may see them discussing their traumas, but then again, they may be trying to send their traumatic energy to other people. So they can't even see the error to their own ways, and they can't even see how this is affecting the other person as well as affecting them. So if you are somebody that, you know, has that kind of bad behavior, if you come to me and I look at it in a reading, I'm going to be able to see it. And it's okay. But just get the help that you need. Covering it up with, you know, drugs and alcohol is not going to necessarily do it, especially if that's your intent. Oh, I've got to do this because I got to feel better, or I got to do this because no, what you're dealing with is a spiritual occurrence that is very, very deep into your subconscious. Okay. And this is affecting every aspect of your life. Hold on a second, guys. Got an incoming. Give me a second. So the truth hurts, and the truth hurts people, especially that have a calcified pineal gland or a calcified third eye. And the pain is actually the process of decalcification. That's a part of the process. And the more you repress it, the worse it's going to be. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and end this one. If you guys need to reach me for chakra readings and aura readings, the link to my website is below. I am running a special for today only at midnight. It's going to change back to the regular price, but I am running a special for 30-minute readings for $33. But you can go to the link in the video description box. Also, if you guys are interested in doing a cleanse, because you got to free yourself from that. You do. It's nothing is ever going to get yourself of it. So my cleanses are actually on sale. So to the person that, you know, keeps coming over your thumbs and down stuff, it's not going to make a difference. Okay. Because I'm meant to help these people. And there's a lot of people that blindly do things, just blindly. And some of these people are even out here trying to offer you spiritual work that ain't going to work because their pineal gland is calcified. So if you want authentic work, the link to my website is below. I do offer phone, video, as well as Skype readings. Like I said, my 30-minute readings are $33 right now. Consultations are $75. I think I'm going to be running a special on the consultations. Okay, probably at the end of the day. I'll be doing a special on my consults. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Love and light.